So this is sort of the inciting incident of the story, and I brought a prop up here because I need it for the microphone in the cab, which gets a call from headquarters, and then also something else, sort of like a megaphone, more of a megaphone. So when I'm going like this, that's headquarters. When I go like this, it's something else. And the name of his cab, or the number of his cab, is 123. And he's just out and about, and here it starts. I climbed into 123, backed around, and pulled onto 13th Avenue. I aimed the grill at Midtown and turned on the Rocky radio to start taking calls. 123, pick up. I was astonished. As soon as the radio came on, I heard myself being paged. 123, pick up. I picked the microphone up from the hook and the dashboard, but before I got to the button pushed, I heard sirens. I saw a flash of red lights in my rearview mirror. I took a moment to slow and pull over to the curb before raising the mic to my lips, but then I paused as 3 cop cars raced up behind me. 2 of them stopped, and the third one swung around in front of me and blocked my path. I was boxed in. Get out of the taxi. 121, pick up. 123, pick up. Get out of the taxi. 123, pick up. Cops were crouching behind the cars, aiming their guns at me. Put down the microphone, Murph, someone said. It was me. I looked in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. Apparently, I was in the front seat. Let go of the microphone and raise your hands, I said. I quickly complied. The mic bounced off the floor. I had seen enough cop shows to know how to raise my hands, elbows positioned at 90-degree angles, fingers spread, head erect, wait for further instructions. I found myself kissing the asphalt that afternoon, but let's back up 30 seconds. Get out of the taxi with your hands up, a cop shouted. To do this, I had to lower my left hand below the windowsill. I had seen enough criminals do this on TV, and to me, it always looked like they were going for a gun. I wondered what it looked like to the cops. Just to make sure it didn't look like anything, I did it real slow. I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but it got the job done. I kept my right hand on the upright position while I eased the door open with my left and proceeded to extricate my body from the driver's seat. Again, real slow. Lay face down on the ground, hands behind your head. Correct grammar was back in the loop. So I hurriedly complied. I gazed directly at the asphalt. I wanted the police to understand that I was going to fully cooperate, and I did this by lying perfectly still. This was body language for silence. I was golden. I heard running footsteps, doors opening, puffing and grunting, and low voices. I heard the clicks and static sounds of police radios. They were talking to headquarters, I assumed. This was one of the few times in my life where I felt it really didn't matter if I made an erroneous assumption. I idly wondered if police dispatchers ever yelled at their newbie cops. Throughout all this, I kept hearing my dispatcher saying, 123, pick up, 123, pick up. After a while, it stopped. More cop cars arrived. I knew because I peeked. A finger tapped my shoulder. Are you the driver of this taxi? Yes, sir. What's your name? Murph. Full name. Oh, yes. What's your full name? Oh, Brendan Murphy. I tend to forget that. The police never seem to, though. All right, you can stand up. I hurt my knees. It hurt my knees on the asphalt before hoisting my beer belly erect. To be honest, I rarely kneel. 5 cops were blocking the street now. Traffic was being diverted down side streets. Red lights were still flashing. Police officers were roaming around my taxi. The doors to 123 were wide open. A nearby cop was talking into a radio attached to his upper body. His head was bowed a bit as if he was telling secrets to his shoulder. Mr. Murphy, would you step over the sidewalk with me? The policeman said. I followed him onto the curb and across a 6-foot stretch of dirt to a flagstone sidewalk. A lot of sidewalks in Capitol Hill are made of flagstone. They're from the cowboy days. I'll have to ask you to wait here. We have some people who want to talk to you. All right. I thought the cop would walk away, trusting me not to bolt, but he didn't do either. He stood right there while the other policemen prowled around my taxi. An unmarked car cruised up to the scene of the, well, not crime, but just the place where we were. 2 men in gray flannel suits climbed out. I started to blanch, but then I stopped. For one moment, I thought I recognized them. I thought they were the 2 cops that I'd been in passing acquaintance with, Detectives Duncan and Argyle. But these were different detectives. I could tell they were detectives by the way the other policemen crowded around and began fast talking. Cops don't talk that way to rubberneckers. They do it only to men who have years of experience tucked under their belts, along with their pistols. I knew not to ask the uniformed policeman questions. Duncan and Argyle had taught this to me, although not on purpose. It was a learned thing. I didn't know what was going on, but I did know one thing they would tell me. They always told me, sometimes down at police headquarters. The 2 detectives walked toward me. Except for their faces, they were just like Duncan and Argyle. Is your name Brendan Murphy? One of them said. Yes, sir. Are you the driver of this taxi cab? Yes, sir. My name is Detective Ottman. This is my partner, Detective Quigg. We're with the robbery division of the Denver Police Department. I immediately wondered if Detective Quigg was related to Mayor Quigg Newton. Quigg Newton was the mayor of Denver in the late 40s. He and Bob Hope once owned Channel 4 TV station. I learned that in a Denver history class in college. You learn a lot of things in college. I recommend college to anybody who doesn't know much. I need to ask you a few questions, Ottman said. Okay. Mr. Murphy, did you pick up a fare from the Glendale Bank, Colorado Boulevard, sometime during the past 30 minutes? No, I said. He raised his chin and sort of looked down at me, even though he was my same height. He was acting as if he didn't believe me. Wait, well, yes, I said. He lowered his chin. Is it yes or no, he said. It's yes, but I didn't exactly pick up the fare from the bank. I mean, I was parked in the lot at the bank, and a man tapped on my window. He asked if I could give him a lift. You were in the parking lot of the bank. Yes, I was, but I stopped. But what? What I meant is he didn't call for the cab from the bank. I just picked him up off the street. He is what I call a pedestrian. Ottman nodded. Could you describe the man to us? Yes. Go ahead. He looked like Willie Loman. What do you mean? He was nondescript. How so? He had the kind of face and demeanor that wouldn't stand out in a crowd. In fact, I saw him twice. Where did you see him the first time? In a crowd. He was standing behind me in the line at the Glendale Bank. So you were in the bank. I heard those italics. They pulled me up short. People often use italics when they think they have caught me in a lie. Nuns taught me this. Yes, I was in the bank cashing a check, and when I turned to leave, I almost bumped into the man. After I got outside to my taxi, he came out and asked if I could give him a ride down the road. Down the road? Did he say that? No, that's cabbie lingo. He said he needed to go about 6 blocks. Mr. Murphy, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to come down to headquarters and make a written witness statement. I know this is going to inconvenience you. It will take a while. I can't guarantee that you'll be able to drive your cab again today. We just spoke to our supervisor, your supervisor, Mr. Hogan. He knows that we've been looking for you and that you're all right, but you might have to contact him and let him know what's happened. Okay, but I have one problem. What's that? I don't know what's happening. Didn't anybody tell you? No. For the love of Christ, Ottman muttered under his breath. I like that. I wondered if Ottman was an Irish name, although it sounded sort of Turkish. The man who was in your back seat is suspected of robbing the Bank of Glendale and Trust. And that's the part I wanted to read to you, and that's the rest of the story goes on from there, and you're going to love reading every ins and out of all the mythological and labyrinthine turns and twists of this wonderful story.